We're ready. Yep.
Okay, the meeting will please come to order. This is a duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of our city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of this board is final in respect it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you do have recourse in a court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory board to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. The final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bias?
Here. Here.
Mr. Noctree?
Here.
Ms. Radakovich?
Here.
Ms. Rohr?
Here.
Ms. Midge?
Here.
Mr. Stiff?
Here.
Chairman Hennessy.
Here. Excuse me.
All right. First on the agenda is the approval of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes from December 18th of 2025.
Motion would be in order.
Motion?
Second.
Call the board.
Mr. Noctree?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Ms. Midge?
Aye.
Mr. Stiff?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, next on the agenda is citizens to be heard on agenda items. I do want to note that we do have one case that has been withdrawn, which is petition 2026-01. It was a special use permit to allow a staffing agency located at 114 East Jefferson Street. Again, that petition has been withdrawn and it will not be discussed tonight. So, under citizens to be heard on agenda item, this section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and the Zoning Board of Appeals members do not generally respond to public comments. The speaking procedures are on the 2 big projector screens. And I also note that everything on our agenda tonight, which there are 2 remaining agenda items, are public hearings. So if you are here to speak on one of these agenda items, you're welcome to speak now, or if you would like to speak when it's called as a public hearing, so it could be heard under the record for that hearing, you're welcome to do that then instead. So at this time, is there anyone here who would like to speak on an agenda item under citizens to be heard on agenda items? Okay. Yes.
Do we get to speak after they speak about one of the agenda items?
You would, if you're here to speak on an agenda item, you can speak during citizens, or sorry, under the public hearing for that agenda item. It's up to the chair when they close discussion, then there'll be no more comments after a certain point. So you're allowed to speak during that time. I don't know if it's when or after, could be both. Yeah. All right, next on the agenda is old business public hearing. And the first agenda item, a companion case, is petition 2025-51, a special use permit to allow a self-storage facility located at 1701 Drowden Road. The companion case is petition 2025-52, a variation of use to allow a B3 general business use in the B1 neighborhood business district located at 1701 Drowden Road. The applicant for this petition is Ronald Schelling, and the owner is Timpanogas LLC. For purpose, the applicant is requesting a variation of use and a special use permit to allow a self-storage facility in a B1 neighborhood business district. The City Council makes the final decision on both the special use permit and variation of use petition requests. For site-specific information, the 3.86 acre subject property is Lot 2 of the 10.4 acre 2-lot commercial subdivision at the northwest corner of Drowden Road and Theodore Street that the City Council approved on December 1st of 2020. A gas and wash fueling center was constructed on Lot 1. The property is Zone B1 Neighborhood Business District. Access to the subject property would be from Droughton Road. The stormwater detention system for Lot 1 would be expanded and shared to accommodate the proposed facility. For surrounding zoning, land use, and character, to the north is a ComEd easement and it's zoned R2 Single Family Residential. To the south is a gas station zoned B1 Neighborhood Business. To the east is Single Family Residential Use and it's zoned R2. To the west is a ComEd easement and it is zoned R2 Single Family Residential. For applicable regulations, we have Section 47-11.4 prohibited uses in the B1 zoning district. We have Section 47-17.28 variation of use. We have Section 47-13.2A special uses for the B3 zoning district, and Section 47-5.2C criteria for issuance of a special use permit. For case history, this proposal was brought before the Zoning Board of Appeals in 2021 and in 2023. In 2021, the Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval, but the petitions were not approved by the City Council. In 2023, the motion to approve the petitions failed by a vote of 3-4. The petitions were subsequently withdrawn prior to City Council consideration. Primary concerns from neighborhood residents in opposition to the petition in 2023 included concerns over squatters living in the facility and increased traffic and noise in the area. Meeting minutes of the Zoning Board of Appeals and City Council meetings from previous years are attached, and videos of these meetings are available on the city's website. The public hearing for the petitions was originally scheduled for the November 20th, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, but has been deferred twice at the applicant's request. For discussion tonight, or today, the petitioner proposes to build an indoor climate-controlled storage facility with accessory outdoor mini storage units on Lot 2 of the Gas and Wash Theodore and Droughton subdivision. The Joliet zoning ordinance allows self-storage facilities in the B3, I1, and I2 zoning districts upon special use permit approval. The subject property is zoned B1 Neighborhood Business District, where self-storage facilities are not listed as a by right or special use, and therefore, per the Joliet zoning ordinance, is considered a prohibited use. For these reasons, the request requires both a special use permit and a variation of use approval. The petitioner feels that the subject property cannot accommodate a traditional neighborhood commercial use, and that the proposed self-storage facility use provides a service to residents not readily available nearby. The zoning ordinance requires at least 1 year to elapse before a petition can be reintroduced to the Zoning Board of Appeals or City Council process. Since over 2.5 years have passed from the City Council's April 2023 vote, the petitioner desires that the Zoning Board of Appeals and City Council review the proposal again. This proposal includes a one-story, 10,950 square foot climate-controlled indoor facility, as well as 6 outside access one-story buildings with mini storage units. The building facades that face the perimeter will be brick-faced with light and dark brick. The buildings that are located within the proposed complex would be sided with fiber cement board. And in total, there'll be approximately 370 storage units of varying sizes. Outdoor storage of any kind is not permitted on site. The proposed site plan and conceptual building elevations are included with the staff report packet. The proposed landscape plan shows that the site will feature dense landscaping along Droughton Road, and all landscape beds will have low berming. There will be a decorative 6-foot-high black wrought iron style fence along the perimeter in areas where no buildings are present. The proposed hours of operation, during which renters can access their storage units, would be from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Renters of the storage units would access their units through a secured gate. The facility would be staffed by 1 employee. Security cameras would be positioned to review the exterior drives and the building, and the interior of building number 5. For recommended action, staff recommends the Zoning Board of Appeals recommend approval of the variation of use and special use permit requests. While staff does not find that strict enforcement of the permitted uses of the B1 zoning district would involve practical difficulties or impose exceptional hardship considering the property in question can yield a reasonable return if permitted to be used only under the conditions allowed by the regulations in the B1 zoning district. Staff does find adequate evidence that the unique circumstances exist with the shape and location of the site. Staff also finds that adequate evidence was submitted to establish that the variation of use, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. The proposed self-storage facility is a service-oriented use, and with the scale, buffering, and other considerations that are built into the special use permit process, it does meet the spirit and intent of a B1 neighborhood business special use. Staff does not believe the proposed facility would be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding neighborhood, nor would it be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity. The proposed self-storage facility business would be buffered by a 350-foot utility easement along its west side, share a southern boundary with an existing gas station and car wash, and have a 100-foot separation with an additional 30-foot wide landscape easement from the existing residential neighborhood on the east side of Drowden Road. The facility will be secured with fencing and be required to meet the city's stormwater management regulations and building design standards. Staff does not believe the proposed use will impede the normal and orderly development of the surrounding property. The applicant has provided a plan that shows adequate roadway access that would minimize traffic ingress and egress to Drowden Road by using an existing curb cut. If the requested variation of use petition were granted, the special use permit would not be in violation of the city's zoning ordinance. Over 1 year has elapsed since the last special use permit request, which was denied for this property. Under conditions, if the Zoning Board of Appeals desires to recommend approval of the variation of use and special use permit requests to allow a self-storage facility located at Drowden Road and Theodore Street, the following conditions would be included. 1, that no outside storage shall be allowed on site. 2, that the special use permit shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days of the effective date of this ordinance, and that the erection or alteration of a building is started or the use is commenced within such a period. The board may grant an extension of this period valid for no more than 180 days. Additionally, upon written application and good cause is shown without notice or hearing. Whether or not there is an intention to abandon the special use, if any special use is discontinued for a continuous period of 1 year, or if an intent to abandon the special use is evident for a shorter period of time, the special use for such shall become void, and such use shall not thereafter be reestablished unless a new special use permit is obtained. Condition 3, failure to comply with any of the above conditions could result in a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And 4, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner here. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your names and addresses.
Nate Washburn, 111 North Ottawa Street, KGG LLC. I'm the attorney for the applicant.
We're on Shelling Development.
Go ahead.
Staff did a very good job of summarizing the history on this site and what's brought us here. As you heard in staff's report, it probably sounds, for some of you who haven't been on this board throughout the entirety of the saga with this property, that, why in the heck are we back for round 3? Well, the practical reality is, we're not here to be obstinate, and we're not here just sort of trying to, well, I shouldn't say what I was about to say. We are sort of trying to fit the square peg into the round hole because this is a unique site. My client has owned the property for 20 years this year. It was acquired in 2006. And since that time, multiple attempts have been made to court investment and development of this site, ranging from medical office facilities, potential daycares, and other, users that might more appropriately and by right fit into the zoning as it's currently granted. However, in 20 years, the only thing that has developed is the existing gas and wash, which as a byproduct of that development, which was approved and moved forward, leaves this very, interesting, unique shaped triangle left at the top that wasn't required or purchased by the developer in the gas and wash. The biggest constraint for this site, aside from just its relative size and configuration, is our lovely buttress to the rear, which is the high tension lines. Those high tension lines are really what prohibit most daycare providers from really desiring this site as feasible. It makes it tricky for a whole lot of uses that might otherwise want to go there. As a result, the only use that keeps coming back to, and otherwise, even by staff's own recommendations throughout the attempts to do this, is this mini storage use. It is a self-contained use with, aside of the initial influx of people putting their stuff there, is a relatively low traffic on the whole use. It is safe, it's secured, it's going to be gated. It'll be an improvement in terms of the facades. We're going to do nice brickwork. We're going to make this a quality project, and there's still a need for these users. There is more, there's constantly more housing projects being discussed in and around Will County. The city, I believe, has taken some actions in recent years or months to start advancing some other housing developments. Even the best housing developments, we acquire stuff now at a rate far greater than our houses can store. This use isn't going away, and it's one of several that I've been a part of, as many of you know, but I'm not the only guy who's been here, with a mini storage use over the last several years, and they seem to keep coming, whether it's here or other communities around. As a result, given staff's recommendation of approval and given the time, effort, and energy that's put into trying to find other users, we're here asking for approval and a recommendation thereof for this mini storage use and self-storage use to allow what's been a 20-year in the making project to finally come to a close and complete the subdivision development that was started when the gas and wash came in. And certainly, we're here to answer any questions anybody on the zoning board may have.
Okay, any questions by the board? Comments? Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Is there anyone opposed? I
Good
swear
af-
you in?
Yes,
Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your name and address.
Margie Sepon, 1114 Wood Irish Drive, Joliet. I'm not, I want to qualify, I am not opposed to the project. I haven't really even read about the project except in the Herald News and how it keeps being brought forward. What I do have a problem with is the application. The application, and I have a handout here. I printed out page 8 of the application. May I approach to give to the clerk to provide copies to each commissioner, please? Thank you. Page 8 of the application is information about the petitioner for the special use, and there is a similar page further into the application for the variance. And if you were to look into the agenda packet itself, it would be page 18. As you can see here, the petitioner's name and address is redacted. The business address is redacted. The business phone number is redacted. There seems to be a problem that's occurring over the last several months that I spoke to Mayor Darcy about. and these redactions, and there's problems with FOIAs as well, which I want to bring up in non-agenda items at the end of the meeting in a public comment. I had to come up here and state my name and address. The petitioner did not. Why was it redacted? Again, I have nothing against the petitioner. I am here on the violation of citizens' trust. We have a right to know. Also, the business address. And since this application has come forward, this is the third time, we have a general idea. But in future applications, wouldn't we want to know if this is a foreign company and where these people are from? Again, nothing against the petitioner. I haven't really even read the proposal. This is a problem. This is a big problem. To me, either something is being hidden or the application is incomplete because you can't read it. So in my opinion, you can't vote on this today. This is an issue for transparency of the public. And again, I spoke with Mayor Darcy, and he does believe that citizens have the right to transparency. And I will get to the FOIA issues in my comment for non-agenda items. Thank you for your time.
Care to address that?
I'm happy to, but I prefer if it pleases the board to address any other commenters.
Let's use the mic, huh?
Come up to the mic.
We need to record this.
Sorry, I was going to say, I'm happy to address it now, but if there were any other
let's address
objectors,
that
I would
particular issue,
prefer to let them go first. But on this particular issue, we didn't institute those redactions. That was done at staff level. We submitted a completed application. That's out of my control. We're not hiding anything.
Todd Lindsay for the city. I'm an attorney with the city. That is true. So it's been a staff decision, administrative decision lately to more align what is released in these applications with FOIA. We do not want the applicant exposed to fraud. What we're trying to do is not for a lack of transparency issue. It's to prevent fraud from, and this is in line with FOIA. It's personal information. We are entitled to redact this information. We want to be as transparent as possible while balancing that with people's individual rights.
And that's according to our legal position, right?
Yeah, I'm an attorney for the city. What we're trying to do is line up with FOIA. And that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Okay.
We don't want someone, like signatures, for instance. You know, that's personal information that could expose someone to,
Okay,
fraud.
thank you.
So,
Anyone else wishing to speak? May I remind you, though, you can't be jumping up, you have the right to speak once. I'm going to give you two shots.
I appreciate the time. In 2018, the Attorney General ruled against the city of Joliet that names are private information. I didn't bring the citation for that ruling, but if that is the case, I would like my name redacted and my address redacted from every public city record, and I think other people who risk coming up to speak.
You have that right to do that, but let's stick to the issue.
Yes, and so I was asked to give my name and address for this meeting. I would like that redacted as well. Thank you.
What's your request?
if I may comment one further, this application, there was more redacted than should. We tried to fix that this morning. Name should have been on there. A home address, no, that should not be. But the name is fair game, that should have been on here.
All right. Okay, anyone else?
And you change.
I pulled today. What I have in my, literally with me, has both the petitioner's name and the property owner's name unredacted, and I printed this maybe 2 hours ago off the city's webpage. So what I have has petitioner's name, Ronald Schelling, owner of property, Timpanogos LLC, both unredacted, and this came from the city's website today. So, again, to align with what Todd just said, if there was a directive given or if the other objecting party has something other than that, the city appears to have corrected, at least with regard to the applicant and the owner's names, as they are not redacted as it appears on the city's website today as of this afternoon.
That is accurate. We review these constantly, and that came to our attention. We released the name.
And what else did you change? Anything else?
It was the address where this is applied for. But the home address, that should be redacted.
And that
Yeah.
I get, that I understand, and I understand we should have the names there.
Right.
But I also don't quite understand, you made a change within hours of this meeting, and it wasn't, it was redacted yesterday.
Sure.
So nobody had noticed now that you did make a change to the application. Do we have a problem there?
No, you do not. Like the name, I think that was on the first page of the staff report.
Ron's
that
name
was.
was on here on the staff report. But I don't believe that the staff report is as important as the petitions,
Okay.
okay?
Sure.
Am I wrong? All right.
I don't believe we have a problem here. I can't tell you how to vote. We review these petitions all the time, and not 100. We try to do our best. And we saw this. We amended it.
But just to clarify, there is no like open meeting act violation or anything.
Is it green?
There we go. But just to verify, there's no like open meeting act violation or anything to that level.
No,
It is posted.
The general
Publicly.
subject matter was released as to this petition. It was
Okay.
clear what this petition was for, so no, there should not be an OMA violation.
Thank you.
Okay. Any
I would if
comments you'd like to make, sir?
I would say I would if the board would indulge me. Just one final comment. I do understand and can appreciate, based on the one individual's objection, that there is a concern, and certainly I, as somebody who's before you very often, and I certainly agree, the people should and do have a right to understand what is being brought and what is being asked. However, in this instance, as our application was complete with all of the requisite information, as it is situated today and as is apparent in the staff report, there is sufficient information for somebody to know who's requesting, what is being requested, and I would very much ask that any vote taken, of course, I would encourage you to recommend approval, but I would also ask that you please not hold against the applicant, my client, anything that may have been a error, gaffe, or otherwise done at the staff level, as we had no control or involvement in that, and we did give all of the requisite information openly, honestly, to staff and the city. And I feel that if a vote were to be against this project on account solely of that potential, and I'm not even saying that it is in fact any sort of legal wrongdoing, I would concur with staff, the city attorney, that my knowledge of the Open Meetings Act would not suggest this is a violation, but I would very much ask that that not be held against the applicant, as that was not something we created, caused to be created, and certainly did not ask for. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? If not, the chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Ms. Radakovich?
No.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Ms. Smidge?
No.
Mr. Stiff?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Noctree?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, the petition will move forward to the city council with a vote of recommendation. And
Was that on both items? 51 and 2?
that was on both items, yeah,
Yes.
Want to get that on the record?
yes. All right, if you're interested in this matter, just continue to check the city's meetings and agendas page for when this will get scheduled for a council meeting. All right, next on the agenda is petition 2026-01. This was the special use permit for a staffing agency at 114 East Jefferson Street. As I mentioned earlier, that petition was withdrawn, which brings us to petition 2026-2, which is a special use permit to allow a truck maintenance facility located at 3501 Shanahan Road. The applicant in this matter is IFH Properties LLC. The property and the status of the applicant is property and business owner. The request again is a special use permit to allow a truck maintenance facility. Under purpose, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow a truck maintenance facility for their freight carrier company at 3501 Shanahan Road. Per the City of Joliet zoning ordinance, carting, express, and hauling establishments may be allowed as special uses in the industrial zoning districts by the mayor and city council with advice of the zoning board of appeals, according to section 47-5.2. For site-specific information, the subject site is 4.7 acres and is zoned I-1 light industrial. The site currently contains a vacant commercial building with surrounding parking that was occupied by a bar and restaurant business for many years until the fall of 2021. The site previously contained a residence and detached garage on the west side, which were demolished in 2022. The site has not been redeveloped or occupied by any use in the last few years. The current owner purchased the property in June of 2025. The subject site was annexed in December of 2011 and classified to the B3 General Business Zoning District to allow the former bar and restaurant to have access to city fire and police services. The structure was not required to connect to city water and sewer at that time. The annexation agreement allowed the existing structures and uses to remain and prohibited the outdoor storage of cargo containers, semi-trailers, and vehicle chassis. In September of 2021, the City Council approved an ordinance to reclassify the site to the I-1 Light Industrial District. City Council also approved a corresponding amendment to the annexation agreement to allow the outdoor storage of semi-trailers in connection with an approved warehousing or similar permitted use in the I-1 district. The outdoor storage of cargo containers and vehicle chassis remain prohibited. Additional requirements from the amendment include berming and landscaping adjacent to the residential parcel to the east if truck parking were located on the east side of the site, removal of the eastmost curb cut onto Route 6 if truck parking were located on the east side of the site, and that the existing land uses be terminated at the time of construction of any industrial development. In August of 2022, City Council approved a preliminary and final plat of subdivision for 3501 Industrial, Joliet, to create 2 lots for a proposed warehouse development that was similar to the concept plan approved with the 2021 annexation agreement amendment. A recording plat for the subdivision was never approved, and those plats have since expired. For surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the zoning and land use are as follows. To the north, we have County A1 Agriculture zoning, and it's the Forest Preserve District property. To the south is City I2 General Industrial zoning, and it is an industrial use. And to the east, we have County R2 Single Family Residential zoning. It's a residential use. And to the west, we have County A2 Agriculture zoning, and it's Forest Preserve District property. For applicable regulations, we have section 47-14.2AD, special uses in all industrial districts, and then we have 47-5.2C, criteria for issuance of a special use permit. For discussion, the petitioner IFH Properties LLC is requesting a special use permit to allow a maintenance facility with truck parking for their freight carrier business, Interstate Freights LLC. Interstate Freights is an over-the-road truck carrier that currently maintains an office in Naperville and a truck parking location in Summit, Illinois. They would like to consolidate their operations at the subject site by constructing an office and maintenance building with associated trailer parking. The site would serve a fleet of around 50 trucks that are primarily out on the road and would use this location for maintenance as needed. The petitioner estimates that there will be around 4 truck trips to and from the site per day, most days of the week, with around 7 trips per day on Fridays. Proposed hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday through Friday. The location would initially have around 5 employees with the potential of up to 10 employees. The proposed site plan contains 24,300 square foot building with around 18,000 square feet for the mechanic bays and associated storage and a 6,300 square foot office area. Around 10 employee parking spaces will be located at the southwest corner of the site next to the building. The remainder of the site will contain a parking area with around 61 trailer stalls. The development will be accessed by one driveway off Shanahan Road near the west end of the site. The existing billboard will be removed. The site plan notes that stormwater detention will be provided underground. The petitioner has submitted a preliminary landscape plan that meets the city's landscape and screening requirements. There will be a 30-foot landscape area with a berm along most of the property frontage adjacent to the trailer parking area. The east side of the site, which is adjacent to a residential property in unincorporated Will County, will have the required minimum 5-foot landscape area with a berm, as well as an 8-foot solid fence along the property line. The edge of the parking area will be over 30 feet from the east property line. The west and north sides of the site, which are adjacent to the Forest Preserve property, will have the required 5-foot landscape areas. The north and south sides of the parking area will be enclosed by a 6-foot black vinyl chain link fence. The development will be required to comply with the city's zoning ordinance requirements, including but not limited to the landscape and screening regulations, the non-residential design standards, and the parking standards. The trailer parking stalls will be subject to the payment in lieu of taxes program per the terms of approved ordinance for truck parking facilities. The site will be required to connect to city water and sewer at the time of development. Water and sewer connection fees and development impact fees will be required. All public improvements will be required per the subdivision regulations and the requirements of the Public Works and Public Utilities departments. For recommended action, staff finds that the request meets the following special use criteria. The establishment and operation of the special use will not be detrimental to the public health and safety, nor will it impede the normally and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property. Additionally, adequate access is provided, city utilities are available in the area, and the site will be required to provide adequate stormwater detention. The subject site is located along a major route and is across an existing industrial subdivision with similar uses. The city zoned the property to I-1 Light Industrial District in 2021 to allow such uses as warehouses, which typically contain trailer parking areas. While the proposed site plan has more trailer stalls than the concept plan from 2021, each stall will be subject to a yearly fee per the payment in lieu of taxes program. The proposed development is otherwise similar to the 2021 concept plan in terms of site layout. The subject site is adjacent to an unincorporated residential use on the east side. The 2021 amendment to the annexation agreement is required that any industrial development at the subject site include landscaping, a berm, and a solid fence along the east side as a buffer from the residential property. The proposed site plan includes these elements. Additionally, the amendment requires that the eastmost curb cut onto Route 6 be eliminated if truck parking is located on the east side of the site. The petitioner has eliminated the eastern driveway and proposes only one access point on the west side of the site. For conditions, if the zoning board desires to approve the special use permit to allow a truck maintenance facility located at 3501 Shanahan Road, the following conditions would be included. 1, that a landscape plan that meets city ordinance shall be submitted as part of the building permit plan set, and landscaping per the approved plan shall be installed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 2, that all public improvements as required by the Department of Public Works shall be installed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 3, that the property shall be enrolled in the payment in lieu of taxes program as per the terms of the pilot program ordinance. 4, that the special use permit granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days of the effective date of this ordinance. and the erection or alteration of a building is started or the use is commenced in such a period, and the rest is the standard language about extensions and abandonment. And then 5, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it may be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner present. Come on forward. Must swear you in. You going to speak?
No.
You swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Your name and address.
Heather Glockler, 2 North 129th Infantry Avenue, Joliet, Illinois, attorney for the petitioner.
Any comments?
I want to first say good afternoon to everybody. Staff did an excellent job. We would be adopting the recommendation, and we ask for your approval. My client, myself, and the engineer are all available for any questions. Thank you.
Questions by the board?
What's the expected financial layout for this whole project?
I'm sorry?
What's the financial layout for this project?
The financial layout?
Okay.
7.5.
You want to identify yourself, sir? Have you swear you in? Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
Yes. Octavian Gerch.
Now, name and address.
Octavian Gerch, 2507 Accolade Avenue, Naperville, Illinois, 60565.
Go ahead.
Approximately estimate is 7.5.
I can't
Just
hear
for
you.
building.
I can't hear you.
7.5.
Get it right.
7.5 million.
And you presently own the property, right?
The land, yes.
No,
But the building's
okay.
gonna be financed.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed?
Good afternoon.
Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your name and address.
Elaine Poole.
Lower the mic a little bit, huh?
Sorry. Elaine Poole in 3397 Shanahan Road.
Thank you.
So one of the residents is to the east of the proposal. Concerns are the water and drainage. We've seen other developments come and it floods out the houses. So concerned about that. The properties that are to the west of this proposed development are well water. So there's a concern about the impact to the environment and also to the residents that live there, and the water pressure and the changes, because it butts up to the creek, that Lower Rock Run that runs into that. There's already issue with the traffic because of the construction, as you pointed out, the developments there. The vehicles travel too fast, the trucks particularly don't stop, so worried about the road. If I understood correctly, they said there will only be like 5 vehicles in and out a day. I'm looking at the size that you're proposing, and I've been in logistics over 25 years. There's no way that that's just going to be five trucks in and out a day. That's going to impact the road there. It's going to impact the traffic as it is already a problem. The close proximity to the houses, it's going to lower the property values of the houses that are there. Understand that we're trying to expand and build, but we're pushing people out who pay taxes and have paid for generations. The fence isn't going to do anything for the noise. A 6-foot chain link fence isn't going to do anything for noise. I believe if it's the same company, that proposal was shot down by the Shanahan committee because of most of the things that I've mentioned to you too. Traffic and noise, the speed limits. We've already had to deal with some of the issues with the traffic there, adding this property without any infrastructure for the roads or any sort of traffic concerns. still poses a problem. My brother was hit by a car in front of our house. So, and that was just, you know, none of the traffic handles none of this addresses the traffic with the roads and the traffic that'll be in and out. I don't know if there's more you guys want to know. The fact that we didn't know who the company was either was odd. So I'm going to hit it on that lady's point where I don't understand why that stuff's not public information before you go into a meeting, but that's about it. It's super close to those roads, the creeks, the environmental impact, and I don't understand why it couldn't be put somewhere else instead of right on top of where the houses are there already. My parents own that land where you're talking about with the first forest preserve is our grandparents owned all that land. And so we understand that there's change and improvement and all that, but part of why we're still there is because of all that stuff there. And because of all the creeks and the ponds and that well water directly affects us. I certainly wouldn't want anybody to get something to happen to them because the water's been changed because of the drains they're putting in or how they put them in, and it impacts how we live. And I just ask for you to take that into consideration. You know, we're just little farmers, but there's other places this could go that could probably be a better use and not impact all of the area with all the traffic that's there now. That's all.
Thank you.
Do you live in one of the houses to the east of this property?
Yeah. Well, I should say our family owns one of the properties, and my brother lives in that house that we grew up in. So our family, my grandfather owned all that land where the park district is and all those houses. And so he gave his kids either an acre of land when they got married, there were 11 kids they had, or money when they got married. So an aunt and uncle, my mom and dad, aunt and uncle, and grandma and grandpa are where that gas station is now on the corner of Bush Road, who was our aunt that you guys changed it to, well, you guys didn't change it. The city changed it to appease the casinos, but where Bush Road and Route 6 is, so. Okay.
Tell me, what give me your idea what would be the best fit for the land. What you think would be the best fit for land.
To be honest with you, I don't know. To be honest with you, I'd like it to be part of the park district because no one's used it in forever.
Yeah, but development is coming sooner or later.
Absolutely, absolutely. But
even if they put a school there, if they put a daycare there, if they something, whatever
with
building.
the amount of traffic there now,
you have Amazon right up the street.
You couldn't put a school there.
Every time you go to the store and you want to get something off the shelf, some truck has to bring it there, right?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but there's a zillion properties where you have warehouses that are not being utilized, that are all over the area, that are not being utilized at all, that just sit there empty, and they're already ready for you to go be wherever you want right there. It doesn't have to be right in our backyard or right next to us. That's all I'm saying. A lot of warehouses out there, a lot of empty spots. Trust me, I know. I've been in logistics a long time. Just doesn't seem like the best use of this property right now, considering the fact that the traffic is already congested, and now you're going to add even more. And there's a reason Shanahan, just down the road, said no. There's a reason. It's just already too ridiculous.
Even if we turn him down,
Understand.
sooner or later, someone is coming, darling.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but they don't have to be there right now. There's other spots available. I'm not disagreeing with you. But it's a question of doing the right thing for the people that have paid taxes for years and years, and not letting a company just come in and railroad you and say, we're going to do this and it's going to be nice. And to say there's only 5 or 6 trucks that are going to come in and out of there a day, you looked at that warehouse, you know that's not true. So at least I'm telling you the honest truth. That's
but development
is coming. I understand that, but there's other spots for that to be. It doesn't have to be right there, because that will impact the houses. That'll impact your taxes. You certainly wouldn't want one in your backyard. I guarantee there's probably not one in your backyard.
Who owns that property originally?
I'm sorry?
Who owned that property?
The property where that is was John Albert. They own where that restaurant is. We own to the east of that. There was a house that said there was one house. There was actually 4 houses in the back. And then there was a house on the side. And they rented those houses out. So I think originally when they did that, the 2011 was just to make the parking lot bigger. It really wasn't for an industrial building. It was a restaurant, a family restaurant. And I could see that instead of more trucks. Because right now, the city loses money with all the trucks and nobody's fixing it. It's ridiculous how bad construction is all over. And no companies are held accountable, and nobody does anything to say, okay, we're gonna build this, but you're gonna have to be a part of the solution as far as the maintenance of it too.
You telling me that they're not gonna pay taxes when they come?
Well, I don't know. You guys defer a lot of stuff. So I don't know. But I don't know how much taxes they're gonna pay based on what impact they're gonna have to your constituents and all the people that vote for you and the traffic. I mean, I'm certain that you probably look at Facebook on I-8055. That's insane. It's insane. And we don't need to add another one where now Route 6 will be just as bad. That's all. Right now you have growth there, but it's not growth where it's going to blow up. This will blow it up. That's all.
Any other questions by the board? Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
Hello.
Swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law.
Yes.
Your name and address.
My name is Kathy Link, and I'm at 22758 South Michael Drive, Shanahan, Illinois. I'm her sister. And my main concern is the environmental impact, because the west side of that location is Rock Run Creek and the forest preserve behind it. And my concern is that they're going to impact the forest preserve negatively and the creek negatively. There is groundwater that has a concern because those houses on the east are all well water. And if they get impacted by the groundwater, they will have to drill new wells or other such items or get city water. And they're right now in unincorporated Will County. But my big concern is the environment and what a trucking maintenance facility is going to do to runoff of the trucks, tank cleaning or uncleaning. And I just don't think the request has been examined environmentally enough.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Care to address those issues?
I do want to thank everybody that spoke today. A few things that I would like to just readdress here. This is not a warehouse. This is a trucking maintenance facility. So it will have, the stalls available as staff pointed out in one of the pictures, the concept plan. My client is estimating 5 to 6 trucks for repair and maintenance. He does own an over-the-road trucking company, so those trucks will be parking in those stalls. Thank you. Will be parking in those stalls when they're not on the road. So while I certainly understand the concerns of increased traffic, the 5 to 6 trucks in and out or additional vehicles in and out is an estimate based on the use. Also, we're going to comply with all of the city requirements. That is something that, there's conditions for us. We do have to comply with. And we are not the same company that they've referenced in the past with Shanahan. I'm not sure who that was. My client did purchase this last year and has been complying in the application process since. As far as the environmental concerns, I certainly understand that. A maintenance facility is not the same as the warehouses that are already there. I'm sure a number of us have driven up and down that street. We're aware of the environment over there. whatever conditions are imposed, obviously my client will abide by.
I'm sure that the Environmental Protection Agency, you will have to concur with whatever they ask for, right?
Absolutely, we would.
Any
at what-
questions?
Yes, at what point does the EPA step in to ask those questions and to see the plan? Like, should that happen before a vote is taken?
My name's Gary Dillman.
Oh, I must swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law? Your name and address.
Gary Dillman, 1550 Seals Court, Naperville, Illinois. All the environmental issues will be addressed by permit to the EPA during the process of the engineering phase, which comes right after the approval phase from you. The water runoff for that property, all the water will be maintained on the property in a storm trap for a certain period of time and then diverted into the storm system at a reduced rate so not to impact any property outside of the outline of that property. It's all stored underground, concrete bins. Water sits in there when it rains, fills up, then it ejects out of a big pipe to a smaller pipe to a smaller pipe so it doesn't impact the storm system in front of the property. All the environmental waste that comes out of there is taken out through a triple basin on the opposite side of the building where all the sewage will go out. And it's taken out like the old storm or sewage in the back of the house. Well, now it goes through a triple drain system, is filtered out, and that system is emptied by the owner at the point of when it gets to capacity where it's full, but never impacts the storm sewer or the basin outside where all the sewage is put in. So that's never impacted into the property. All that's done before the engineering is approved. And then that goes to the city, they sign off on it, and we're done. But they may have questions or comments, but those are all presented at the same time.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions by the board? Chair is going to close the petition on the floor and ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Ms. Smig?
Aye.
Mr. Stiff?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Nachtrieb?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, this petition will move forward with a recommendation of approval to an upcoming city council meeting. So if you're interested in this petition, just continue to look at our agendas for city council meetings. All right, that brings us to old business, not for final action or recommendation, which there are no agenda items. And that brings us to public comment. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding non-agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and the Zoning Board of Appeals members do not generally respond to public comments. And the speaking procedures are up on the screen.
Hello again, Margie Sepon. As I brought up the redactions in the applications for the city records, I also spoke about FOIAs. And the FOIAs have become a problem for residents. And it's been happening over the last several months, and I'm not the only one that's noticing. I did talk to Mayor Darcy about this as well. And the most recent one that it was not even my FOIA. I very rarely FOIA the city. But it wasn't even mine. It was someone, I'm not sure who, but in neighboring municipalities, residents were talking about it. It was about the data center. And the number of pages that were released for this FOIA was 1,314 pages. Of the 1,314 pages, 1,307 were redacted. The FOIA asked for development agreements, engineering plans, memos, and it was all redacted. Why was it redacted? Redaction is the exception, not the rule. And within those 1,307 pages of black pages, that's almost 3 reams of paper. Is the city saying that there is a specific law that they can cite for every single word in that FOIA release? This is not the first time either. There seems to have been, over the last few months, a change in what the citizens, the residents, have information to. We should have that information. Why? There was a legal notice put out. The data center was supposed to be before you, and I believe the Plan Commission as well. A public notice was placed, and then it was taken off the agenda indefinitely. Citizens want transparency, and I believe the mayor is in agreement too. What is going on? Thank you.
Let's proceed.
Anyone else here to speak through public comment?
Hi, I'm here to say something about the storage units, but I don't know if I'm allowed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, it's regarding the storage units that want to be put up on Drowden Road. And we live across the street in Westmere subdivision. And we have 4 schools that are actually in that area, which we are concerned about the children walking home. And was I supposed to do? Okay, sorry. Here.
It's Ridge Grade School, Drowden Point, and Troy Middle School. All these kids go right past the house, and I live right in front of where this is gonna supposedly be, and I'm more concerned about kids because I don't think it's a good idea. I'd rather have a store or something there where people don't have to worry about their children. So.
Okay, then there's another thing we wanted to add to is that a lot of the storage units have guns. A lot of people store their guns in these storage units. Also, the drugs and dealing of the drugs. And they also live in the storage units. And we're just worried for the children again. And even I live alone, and I mean, all this that will be going on, there's a lot of traffic right there. And I believe they're putting stop and go lights up there. Right now it's been just stop signs. And it's right next to a gas station. And then the one grade school would be right next door, right there by the storage units. And I don't know, just them having drugs for one thing, they could be coming in to our subdivision, and who knows, what they can do. I do have some friends that buy storage units, and they find this kind of stuff out all the time. And I have a example of, it's not in Illinois, but it's Brown University, Massachusetts. Shooting suspect was found dead inside a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire. So that's just one example. So, and also, what our tax is going to go up because of this. We're already high, and like I said, I live alone, so it's quite hard to make ends meet. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak under public comment? That being said, we'll move to adjournment.
Motion be in order.
Motion.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Pull the board.
Ms. Smid?
Aye.
Mr. Stiff?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Noctree?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right.
Aye, aye, aye.